Je viens m'asseoir sur tes bancs et respirer le vent ici. La vie est calme, les anges me caressent et je fume dans les rues sans le stress, un peu comme à l'ancienne, loin de mes problèmes.
What's up? Welcome to a new week. Today is Monday. It's 10:30 on the dot right now. Started the day at 6 a.m. Got up, got ready for the day, came in and got some work done. Went for our morning sunrise walk, made breakfast, and then have been sitting here knocking some stuff out since. So it's been a pretty big day already. It's a big week. We have a lot going on. There's kind of been a build up the past few weeks up to this point, and now there's just a lot of like movement and executing that has to happen. So it's been extra beneficial to be waking up early and having that like morning work block before the sun is up, just so that I can get ahead of the day. But some of the bigger things that are on plate for this week. One, I mentioned last week in the last video that we just hired a sourcing agent for our newest venture, which should be launching like within a few months, hopefully. I haven't shared what that is, but I will once we are in a position where I feel comfortable doing that. But she connected me this morning with a manufacturer that we're going to sample from. I already got the payment process for that sample. That's the good thing about working with a sourcing agent, is they can handle all the negotiating beforehand, so that once that handover happens, if it does, sometimes they don't hand over, but if that handover happens, like, you're typically ready to hit the ground running. So I was able to get that done already today, and they seem like they're gonna be good to work with. We do have another sample that should have been finished last week that I need to check on. And then another thing going on this week is 28 has a drop on Sunday, so about 6 days away now. Since we're within a week of the drop, that means that we're launching the ad campaigns, getting the creative out there. They had a photo shoot yesterday, so there's a pretty quick turnaround to get assets over to me for that. But I have them, and so now I have to design the ads and write the copy and get those rolling. So that will be a very fun thing to share throughout the week, and then the drop will probably happen in the next video. But that's a big part of the week so far. And then there's just some ancillary like client stuff going on, prepping for a new sprint with a client, digging into an audit with another client. So a lot happening, but feeling really good about the week so far, and just what it's looking like. It's always great to have the weeks where you know it'll be busy, but it's all really positive movement. I don't really like to sit and wait around. So that's where we're at. All right, so it's about 12:30 now. We just got back from the gym, picked up a matcha on the way home, so we're ready to get some good work done this afternoon. First thing on my list is to prep some ad creatives for 28, send them over to their team and get feedback, get aligned on what we want to put out. But I wanted to share a bit of the process of what that looks like, because in this instance, they prepare the creative, they do the photo shoots, they send me all the assets, and then I have to take it from there and build it out into the campaigns. So the first step of the process after a shoot is complete is I receive a drive file that has all of the assets from the shoot in it. And the thing about the marketing program for 28 in particular is we are very, very careful and intentional with how we advertise. So we don't like to put up any creative that isn't like the best that can be produced. And their level of production for creative is very high. So we have very, very high standards for that. So it takes me going through the assets that they've already reviewed and refining them further to think of, what fits the brand the best, what's going to catch the eye the best and convert online. So I pull, however many I need initially, kind of narrow it down, and I lay them out in Illustrator to start to look at the designs. We put a lot of ads up that don't have any designs on them, no like logo, text, anything like that. It's just the image or the video. Again, we like to keep it simple and intentional, but some of them I'll add in like details for the drop or, the logo, things like that. So that's where I'm at now. I've already pulled all the images. I have them all on Illustrator laid out. So I'm going to start piecing things together, see what is most impactful as an ad, what looks best with, the logo, what doesn't need anything else. Because you don't want to make things too busy if they're already a pretty, busy photo. So that's what I'm going to dig into. And then from there, get approval from the team. And once we're all aligned, then we'll build out the campaigns and get those ads live. Get into like the end of campaign reporting and planning for the next spring. I mentioned it in the notes, but like there has been a very clear perspective because whenever you give, we gave it a lot of confident opportunity. What's up? So it is just past 7 p.m. on Wednesday, and I haven't recorded any segments of me talking for a couple of days, so I figured it was time for a check-in. As I mentioned, there's kind of a lot moving this week, so I've just been heads down focused on getting that done. I know I've mentioned it in the past, but I use a notebook to keep all of my to-dos, and it's been pretty packed on a daily basis, which just means that things are going well and business is moving. So it's been a good week so far, been a very productive week with our newest business that I know I share very vague details about, but I promise within the next, few months or so, I'll start to share like details on that and what the business is, how we're building it, how it came about and stuff like that. But it is a business built around a product that is completely new. So we have to be very, very protective about it, but it is in the ecom space and we're very excited about it. So we're in the sampling phase right now. I shared about that before getting a sourcing agent. She's been helping us. We started sampling some new versions of the product from new manufacturers. So we have a couple in progress right now. But yesterday, I spent a lot of time designing the packaging and some of the accessories that go with it. So, and again, it'll make sense when you know what it is, but I just can't provide that much detail. But that's something that I really enjoy about being an entrepreneur, especially when you're in a phase where like we're not just like paying people to do everything for us. And while that is like a really good position to be in, if you just have the, capital to, whether you're self-funded or otherwise, to just like, pay designers and pay I don't know, all of these skilled people to come in and take care of things for you. Obviously, that's a great position to be in, but you lose a lot of value just for yourself personally whenever you do that. So I know my way around, graphic design and things like that. I've designed tech packs before when needed for other projects. So I have some knowledge, but I had to design packaging, no like 3D renders or anything wild, but it was just an interesting thing to take on, and that's what we're going to take to manufacturers and show them as reference for what we want. So I just think that that's something, I don't know, if you're an entrepreneur or aspiring business owner or anything like that, like don't miss out on opportunities to learn, because ultimately, like, personal growth and skilling up and like learning is so important, and it's a lot more important sometimes than time saved. There are other instances where we hired designers and people with the skills who have been doing it for a long time. If it's something that needs to move quickly or needs to be perfect, then we'll absolutely do that. And that'll change as time goes on and we don't have the time to take on tasks like that. But it was fun. And now we're working with our sourcing agent to find some manufacturers for packaging and the accessories to go with the product. So that's going very well, and I'm excited. We have some ambitious timelines, so we really have to be on it and be ready to react whenever we get responses and things like that. So that's been going on, and then I've had some client work this week, some calls, and then a bigger thing that has been going on this week is we have had an intern for a few months now. She started with us technically January is when it started. She's in college, but we really started talking and like onboarding in December. So she's been with us for a few months, and she is just, I mean, incredibly bright and very, very talented. And we are talking to her about sticking with us beyond the end of her internship. And it's made me think a lot about what it's like to build teams and how important your team is, especially in the beginning. Because right now, we are a team of two. It's me and my partner that run our digital business, Lowtide, and we build our other businesses that are, launching within the next few months. So that makes it pretty easy because we live together, we can talk to each other all the time, and we're completely aligned on our goals, and we can find alignment on how we want to achieve those goals pretty easily. But the biggest thing is like the passion. Like we both feel equally passionate about what we're doing and what we want in life, and whatever we work on impacts us directly, right? Like if I am pouring a lot into our businesses and it is resulting in movement, that benefits me directly. So whenever you start to build a team, there's a bit of a challenge because sometimes you're bringing people in before there's revenue happening. And so maybe they are with the founding team and they have some sort of stake, or there's some sort of like, long-term goal as far as compensation, but there might not be an immediate return for their work. Or maybe you are in a position where you do have revenue and you're able to bring people in. But regardless, you need to find people who are bought in to what you're doing. And there are skills and attributes that you can't teach. And that is what our intern has. Is she has the ambition and the drive. She's bought in, and she's also very talented. And there are even areas of business now with like marketing and like design and stuff that we will probably end up deferring to her for ideas and concepts, because she can probably come up with something better than us, because she's just a very creative and visual person. So since we found someone who has all those attributes, we want her to stick around, and we also want to help level up her career. She has one more year of college left, so we want to really set herself up, whether that journey continues with us, which would obviously be fantastic, or if she goes somewhere else. Like we want to do our best to help her gain all the skills and experience that she needs to succeed in whatever she does. So that's very exciting to me. It means that we need to start doing some work on how we operate and how we can be more collaborative, because again, going from a team of 2 to a team of 3 with someone who is not like here in person just means things have to function a bit differently. We have to, be a bit more communicative with like what's going on, and make sure that we're all able to, stay aligned at all times. So I'll probably document some of that journey as we go, but it is really exciting though, because a big part of why I do what I do is to help people. I like to mentor and I like to teach, and business for me is a way to find freedom for myself, but it's also a way to help as many people as I can, whether through like opportunity or, making money for myself and then being able to help my family, just things like that. So this to me is an opportunity for that, and that's really what fuels me. But yeah, I've yapped for long enough now, but I'm gonna have some dinner and check on things, see what I need to get done tomorrow. I think I have one call tomorrow, but see what needs to move, send a couple emails, a couple messages, and probably head to bed.
I'm not a bug, not quite a germ. I'm a humble, catchy melody. I'm a earworm, and it go. I only know a couple of tunes. Don't take requests, no fly me to the moon. It's gotta be simple, got no time for rehearsal. How about that jingle from that jewelry commercial? Doc said it's common, Doc said it's fine. Doc reassure him, I'm totally benign. 'Cause when you search, if you're losing your mind, just remember earworms got to survive, and it goes.
What's up? It's Friday, almost 8:45 a.m. We're about to go on our sunrise walk now, even though it's a bit past sunrise. We had a bit of a later start this morning, so I just sat down to send through some payments for some samples. There are 3 different things that we have to sample for our newest business, which is the primary product, the accessories, and then the packaging. So I mentioned earlier in the video that I've been designing those this week. It's been a lot of work, it's been a lot of new stuff, but now all of that information is with the manufacturer and they can get started on the samples, and they're doing all of them together. So whenever we get our shipment in, it'll be every element we need to see like what the full experience will be like. So that's great. I have some other stuff that I need to dig into today for clients. That's really the kind of the primary to do for the day, is just some bigger client projects that I keep kind of putting off, hoping that I'll have bigger blocks of time to dig into them, but it's not going to happen. So I just need to do what I can when I can. And then another part of today is a creative refresh for 28's ad campaigns. So they've been up since Monday, and since we're about to go into the weekend, the final push before the drop, I like to go in and refresh the creative, swap out graphics, videos, things like that, and make sure that we're pushing with kind of the best messaging before the drop. And then whenever the drop day comes, I switch the messaging again, just from like, this is happening on this day to like, this is happening today. And then when the drop happens, I switch to like, this just dropped type of messaging. So I need to do that and do some prep for the changes over the weekend, just so that I'm not scrambling to get things done. We have all of the budgeting like mapped out and everything, so that's simple. But as far as the creative, we have a lot of images and videos, and there's a restock, so we have all of the assets from those products as well. So I want to make sure that I'm pulling the best things for this campaign. So I'm gonna do that, and then probably do quite a bit of work over the weekend, but we'll see how it goes.